Saint Maud is a 2019 psychological horror film written and directed by Rose Glass, a young English director and screenwriter. It's a quiet, intimate descent into belief, guilt, and isolation. A film that disguises its true horror behind faith and devotion. Beneath its surface, Saint Maud isn't just unsettling, it's deeply disturbing. Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychological themes of this film. Before we talk about Saint Maud, there's something crucial that needs to be acknowledged. This film may be lying to us, or more accurately, it may be showing us the world exactly as Maud experiences it. Almost everything we see is filtered through her perspective. That means Saint Maud isn't necessarily a record of what objectively happened, but a portrait of a mind trying to survive itself. And if Maud is wrong, if her experiences are distorted, then the horror of this film isn't supernatural at all. It's psychological, because Saint Maud isn't really about religion or about possession. It's about what happens when trauma goes unresolved and belief steps in, not to heal it, but to give it meaning. Belief, when mixed with isolation and guilt, doesn't just comfort. It organizes suffering, gives it authority, and sometimes gives it permission.
Dear God, watch over me as I embark on this next posting.
When we first meet Maud, she isn't unraveling. She's quiet, withdrawn, and disconnected. Her world feels small. Her apartment is bare, and her interactions with others are awkward, as if she's slightly misaligned with the people around her. This kind of isolation is easy to overlook because it isn't dramatic. There are no emotional outbursts, no visible breakdowns, no obvious warning signs. But isolation doesn't need to be loud to be dangerous. Maud has no one who truly knows her, no one who challenges her thoughts, and no emotional anchor strong enough to ground her when she starts turning inward. And that matters because the horror here doesn't begin with faith. It begins with loneliness. Isolation doesn't create delusion on its own, but it removes resistance to it. For Maud, isolation isn't just a circumstance, it's a cage she's built to protect herself. But protect herself from what? Throughout the film, we get these violent subliminal flashes. At first, they look like demonic visions, but they are actually memories. We eventually learn that Maud is a construct. Her real name is Katie. She was a nurse who experienced a catastrophic failure. A patient died under her care, and the trauma of that moment broke her. Trauma is the ghost in this machine. She couldn't save that patient. The guilt was too heavy for Katie to carry, so Katie had to go so Maud could live. She didn't find God because she was pious. She found God because she needed a reason for her pain. If her suffering is a test from God, then it has meaning. If it's just random trauma, it's unbearable. She doesn't seek forgiveness, and she doesn't look for understanding. Instead, she looks for punishment. This is the psychological wound at the center of the film. Unresolved trauma doesn't just cause pain, it demands meaning. And Maud finds something that offers exactly that. Not healing, but penance.
Past, John wrote an open letter to MPs here in England. He wanted everybody to know.
Dear God, here is Amanda. Well, you know that. Bless Amanda's body, which is hurting now, but has done so many wonderful things. And bless her mind.
This leads us to the film's central mechanic, faith. In Saint Maud, faith isn't about spirituality, it's about control. At first, Maud's faith feels fragile and private, almost tender. She prays quietly and clings to small rituals, and it seems like belief is helping her hold herself together. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, something changes. Faith stops being something she practices and becomes something she is. Belief gives Maud structure in a life that once felt chaotic. It tells her who she is, why she suffered, and why that suffering mattered. And this is the turning point. Belief doesn't just comfort Maud, it elevates her. She's no longer just a lonely woman carrying guilt. She's chosen. And there's a dangerous difference between faith and certainty. Faith allows doubt, but certainty erases it. By the middle of the film, Maud isn't asking God what to do anymore. She's acting on God's behalf. Her belief no longer guides her, it authorizes her.
Fy mhlentyn, mae'r awr yn nesau. Derbyn y prawf ola yma, ac fe fyddwn yn wir gyda'n gilydd.
How will I know what to do?
Ti wastad wedi gwybod.
As Maud's certainty grows, so do her experiences. She begins to feel intense physical sensations, pain, pleasure, overwhelming emotion, and interprets them as divine communication. This is where the unreliable perspective becomes crucial, because we never see God act independently of Maud. There is no external confirmation, no witnesses, no miracles that exist outside her perception. And yet to Maud, it feels absolute. Pain becomes proof and ecstasy becomes validation. And notice something deeply unsettling. God never tells her to heal, and God never tells her to help. God tells her to judge. This voice doesn't guide her toward compassion, it reinforces her authority. Whether that voice is divine or psychological almost stops mattering, because Maud believes it completely. Her guilt, her need for punishment, and her desire to feel chosen all find a voice. And she names that voice God.
Amanda Coll, 49 years old, stage 4 lymphoma of the spinal cord. I dare say you'll be seeing this one soon.
Here we have to talk about another crucial character in the film, Amanda. Amanda isn't Maud's opposite. She's her mirror. She's bitter, indulgent, and often cruel, but she's also honest. She doesn't romanticize suffering. She doesn't pretend death is meaningful. She accepts her mortality without dressing it up as something sacred, and that terrifies Maud, because Amanda represents a world where suffering doesn't mean anything at all. If Amanda is right, then Maud's entire belief system collapses. And Maud cannot survive that possibility. So Amanda has to be redefined, not as a person, but as a problem. In Maud's mind, Amanda becomes corrupted, sinful, something that needs saving. And as Maud's grip on reality loosens, that interpretation turns literal. Amanda isn't just morally lost, she's perceived as demonic. And what we witness is not objective truth, but Maud's inner world spilling outward. Saving Amanda, then, isn't really about Amanda at all. It's about protecting Maud's narrative. In Maud's mind, Amanda doesn't just need help. She needs to die. By the final act, Maud is no longer searching for answers. She believes she already has them. This is where belief completes its transformation into control. Violence becomes salvation, judgment becomes mercy, and self-destruction becomes martyrdom. From Maud's perspective, everything makes sense. This isn't chaos. It's terrifying clarity. And then the film does something cruel. After fully immersing us in Maud's belief, it gives us 1 second of reality. 1 second where the fantasy collapses. There is no divinity, no transcendence, and no holiness. That single moment doesn't just reframe the ending. It recontextualizes the entire film. Every holy experience becomes tragic, and every moment of certainty becomes devastating. Maud wasn't chosen, she was alone. Saint Maud isn't frightening because God might be real. It's frightening because belief can feel real even when it isn't. The true horror isn't damnation. It's realizing that your suffering never meant anything at all. Because when pain feels meaningful, it can justify anything. And sometimes, the most terrifying thing a belief can do is convince you that you were chosen.